Hi guys, this is Jake at Canadian Cutting Edge, and we've got Fixed Blade Friday, and we've got something special for you today. Something I think you're going to enjoy. Maybe, maybe not. It all depends. This is the HX Outdoors Mercenaries Tactical Knife. That's what they're calling it. Great big chunk of D2 steel, full Tang, G10 handle scales, a black coating, a multi-grind, a unique kind of grind. What's that grind called? Fun. That's the name of the grind. I just named it myself. It's a fun grind. I don't know what to call it. This is a hand axe knife slash gimmick in the best sense of the word. It's kind of cool. This is not, and I say this at the outside of the video, I do not consider this an outdoorsman's knife. I don't even really consider this a tactical knife. This isn't something that somebody's gonna, go into hand-to-hand combat with. This is a fun knife. This is a enjoyable knife. This is a man's toy, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's a good thing, as long as we recognize what it is on the outset. If somebody tries to come across and say this thing is a legitimate tactical knife, I'm going to laugh at them. And I think most of you will too, but that doesn't mean the knife's garbage. It means that it's good for something else. And we're going to try to find out what that is. So if you're interested at all in a big chunk of knife for fun, stick around. I'm going to try a different angle to this video. I've got the camera between myself and the knife and stuff on the table. We'll see how well this works for this video. Let's take a look at the sheath first. This is called a K sheath. It's Kydex, or something very similar to Kydex without being the brand name Kydex, which is what I suspect it is. Some Chinese company has found out the makeup of Kydex and have made their own material that's very similar. That's what I think this is, because they're calling it a K sheath. It's got this clip, which is a pretty good belt clip. It's not great. It's supposed to be emulating a what's the name of this kind of clip that it's emulating? Well, I'll put it on the screen anyways. You recognize it. It works pretty well with a belt. You can easily get a nice thick 1.5-inch belt through there. You can mount this guy so many different ways. You've got loads of options that way. The sheath is not very heavy. The sheath is right around 3.1 ounces. That's including the clip, so not very heavy at all. Put together well. It clips quite well, and you don't have any noise when it's shaking and stuff. It works good. It's a good sheath. So we'll put that aside. Let's talk about this knife for a minute now. What do we have in front of us? We've got a big chunk of D2 steel. It's 5.5 millimeters thick. That's 0.2 of an inch, so 20% of an inch. Not bad. Just under 1/4 of an inch. It's got this black coating on it, and the coating actually on my example, I think you can see it on here. On this side it looks okay, but not great. And on this side, you can see, above Mercenaries, right up here, it's got some discoloration. They didn't do too great of a job putting the coating on, and yet they still went and did the white lettering on it. Oh well, it's not that big a deal. D2 tool steel, Rockwell hardness of 58, G10 in a khaki color on the handle. Let's talk about the sizes of everything. The blade, I'm not sure how to measure the blade. So you can say the blade, if you measure it from here, where my fingernail is, to the very tip up here, we're got 10 centimeters from there to there, and 10 centimeters is just under 4 inches. If you're just measuring this bottom flat section, it's just under 6 centimeters, which is just under 2.5 inches. And I've got to go get Bandit because he thinks he's got somebody by the tail. The next is the handle. The handle length, so the G10 length right here, is 12.3 centimeters, which is 4.9 inches. And the grip area, that's between my two thumbnails right there, we're looking at 9.1 centimeters, which is 3.6 inches. It's got lots of sharp edges on it. That's the major negative about this knife, I'll tell you right off the edge. This part's sharp, and this part's sharp. This part's not supposed to be sharp. So you can deal with that with G10, no problem. We can sand that down, and that's what I'm going to do. I didn't mention about this blade, the thickness behind the grind. Well, the grind is this last bevel here, so it's sort of like a Scandi grind. The thickness behind the grind on this guy is 3.4 millimeters, which is 0.13 inches. Yeah, it's much more like an axe than anything else back here, and a little bit like the front half of some kind of tanto at the front here. It's got a sharp edge there, nice swedge coming to the tip. That can actually pierce pretty good. You can hurt somebody really bad with this thing. You could use it tactically if you wanted to, but it is kind of heavy. The weight of this guy is 367 grams, which is 12.9 ounces. So you're looking at basically 13 ounces here. And it's 1 pound total when you've got the sheath together with it. If you want to buy this in Canadian dollars, at GearBest is $79.46, and in American dollars it's $59.34. Next thing we've got is a lanyard hole there. That lanyard hole is plenty big enough for a 550 paracord, no problem at all. A little bit of jimping back there, so it's not bad for holding in your hand in this reverse grip. That works, not bad at all. And you know, when you're just holding it in your hand and not doing anything, the grip feels okay. It's when you actually start swinging this thing around and hacking into wood and stuff that it starts feeling sharp, especially at the front end here. This part that's supposed to protect your hand is pretty sharp up here, and that's what you need to round down on the G10 up here especially. If you're going to keep this knife and use it, if you're just going to look at it and enjoy it, you know, that's something else. But if you're going to use this knife, that's how you do it. It looks like the handle scales are removable. I'm going to give that a try and let you know. And if I can remove them easily enough, I will include shots of that right now. So here's the knife apart. It does very easily come apart using your Allen keys. Nice little hex hole there. Works great. I've washed these off. There was a little bit of residue on the inside of these. So they are easy to take off, and if you want to sand them up a little bit, easy to do off of the unit. That also makes it really easy if you want to take the coating off of this blade. You know, because if the coating's a little bit off, or you just don't like Mercenaries or whatever, and you'd like to take the black coating off of this thing, hey, there's a lot of videos out there on how to do that. Just take the knife off of, take the handle scales off, and you can clean it up very easily, so you won't have a line between the blade and the handle scales where it looks kind of weird. Easily done to clean that guy up, no problem at all. Easy to switch out the handle scales. Let's say you want to put wooden ones on or whatever. Hey, there you go, and you've got your template for marking your holes right here. You can put any kind of handle on that you want. There you go. Easy to take this knife apart and do some maintenance that way and make some customizations all you want, all your own. So here's a shot of what the knife looks like on my sheath, on my belt I should say, with my big front. Anyway, it's so easy to get at, easy to put back, locks in place. You can change the angle of, slightly on here, but you can put it horizontal or vertical like this, and it's really easy to get out, use, and really easy to get back, and that click is so good. Well, this is the first hot day of the year. 25 degrees Celsius out here. I don't know, what is that, 75 Fahrenheit, something like that. I don't know. I'll put the number on the screen. I've had to change spots in my yard 3 times to find a spot where the wind wasn't being bad. I'd set up and the wind would turn around. Oh well, we're here now. Unfortunately, I couldn't get any human volunteers for testing this tactical knife, so I've got wood to play with. And let's see how this thing does going into some wood. Now, I should be wearing gloves with these, But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Just a thin, you know, pinky finger kind of thickness wood. Let's see if we can get through it. Let's start on the thinner end and see how many whacks it takes to get through this thing. Actually, let's use it properly. Let's put this lanyard on and use the lanyard around in this kind of manner to get some grip on it, and use my grip back so I got some length to the grip like that. And let's give it a try. Well, I got through. Woohoo, that went flying. If I'd hit on the same spot each time, it would go better, but... Oh, that flew about 10 feet. So, it's easy enough to whack through stuff like this. Let's try something a little bit thicker. Let's try this piece first. It's, you know, a good amount thicker than the other one was. Ooh, my lanyard came loose. That's the thing with this kind of lanyard grip. You know, you're using the lanyard to help hold your hand in place. It's easy for that lanyard to come loose, but we'll see what we can do. It can get through. It takes a few whacks, but it can get through. Now let's see if we can use it more like an axe, or you know, just trying to chop through this piece of wood back and forth. Somebody who's a good chopper is going to see all my mistakes and say, "Jake, you haven't got a hot clue what you're doing." But I'm having fun. And that's what I see this knife as. This knife is a knife for fun. Just chipping those pieces off of there. So this is some of that apple tree that I had. Let's see if we can just peel some of this bark off. This grind here is a lot like a Scandi grind, but without a micro bevel on the end. It's just the final grind. So the way to sharpen this thing is you're going to need a stone, and you're going to need to sharpen it on a wet stone. That's going to be about the only way, unless you want to create a micro bevel, to sharpen that flat section. And even these other sections, it's going to be a tricky knife to sharpen, especially this middle bevel, middle angle right here. That's going to be hard to sharpen. You know, to get right to the edge without getting all the way, whatever. It is what it is. It does come quite sharp from the factory, that's for sure. No problems there. Let's see if it works to baton a little bit. Let's start small. I'm not concerned with the D2 steel not doing it. It's just we have a short edge to work with, so we don't have an awful lot of... We can't baton something... We can't baton something big because we don't have a big edge to work with, that's all. But it certainly can baton. D2 steel's got no problem. And with that edge there being more like an axe, it kind of splits the wood. Let's try this bigger piece. It's got a few knots in it. I'm just taking apart my baton because of that sharp edge of the knife sticking out right there. The swedge on the top, it's just eating through my baton. So it's definitely a good fun knife to play with. It's not a bushcrafter's knife, but it's a good camping knife. You know, a lot of guys go out camping and you're there to have fun. You know, it's not a survival situation or anything like that. You just want to play and enjoy the outdoors. This knife you can have a lot of fun with in the outdoors. I think it's worth the price. I'm definitely going to be sanding off the edges of this G10 unless somebody tells me you really want this knife, and I'll sell it to you for a good price. It's going to cost a fair bit to ship though, that's the thing. So shipping basically in North America only, and I'll sell it to you for 50 Canadian dollars instead of, you know, the 70 that you're going to have to pay if you buy it from GearBest. You know, I need to make some money to help keep this channel floating, so you know, it is what it is. I'm not apologetic for charging a reasonable price for it. It's in good condition now, so if somebody notifies me in the next few days before I get to sanding the G10, I will sell it to you. So we've had a good look at this thing, we've played with it, we've swung it around, we've hacked into things, and we've had our fun. What do you think of this knife? What would you use it for? Is it just a toy in your mind, or is it a tool for something? How do you like it? Would you pay, you know, basically 80 bucks Canadian or 60 bucks US for this thing? And if you would, please use the links in the description below, because that helps my channel out. If you would spend that much money on this knife, please use the links in the description below. They are referral links. I get, you know, if you buy this knife, I'd probably get $2 out of the deal. That really helps out my channel an awful lot, because being on a disability pension, I can't afford very many knives. And although this one was easy for me to afford because it was given to me by GearBest to do a review on. So thank you, GearBest, for sending me this knife. I appreciate it an awful lot. And I've tried to remain as completely and openly objective and transparent as possible. You know, I just do my best to do that whenever I review knives, regardless of if I paid for it or not. So thanks so much for watching, for liking. Please subscribe and click on that bell so you can be notified of every video. Please comment and share your thoughts and your feelings. I like the comment section the very best of everything. And let your friends know about Canadian Cutting Edge. Remember, guys, always cut towards your chum and not your thumb.